Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I'm back here with my father-in-law Jeff. If you guys haven't seen the other video, we did a fridge comparison video. A lot of people like that, so what we wanted to do is also sit down and compare a lot of the solar panels we've acquired. Jeff made a load tester that we can go ahead and test the actual efficiency on each one of these panels. We have 11 of them here. We're going to go ahead and just look at that load tester really quick. Let's go over and check that out.
I have made a power resistor load fixture for loading these solar panels so that we can zero in on the maximum power point and measure the power. This will be connected to the solar panel, and the way we're measuring that is we are using a watt meter, and we connect this to here and to the solar panel. This is a graph of a solar panel power curve. Maximum power is voltage times current, and that is out here on the curve before the current just drops down to zero. So what we do with our load resistor fixture is we keep loading the solar panel to the point where the wattage that we're measuring here increases and then decreases, and then we zero in on that wattage and jot that figure down.
Well, thanks for explaining that, Jeff. What we'll do next is we're going to go around the circle and talk about each of these 11 solar panels. And you can see we have all these panels here. We did test them earlier today. Let's go ahead and start with our first panel.
All of our solar panels connect to our charge controllers via an Anderson power port plug. And so this is a little cable that has been made to go with this Newpowa 60 watt panel, foldable panel. It comes with a 5.5 by 2.5 millimeter barrel connector, and that allows us to plug into our charge controller. This solar panel is rated at 60 watts. It's got a nice little kickstand on the back for holding it up, tilting it up, and folds up like so. A nice little carry case. We did find that it's rated at 60 watts, but we measured somewhere in around 51, 52 watts. The build quality on this Newpowa is very nice. I believe they use an ETFE plastic laminate, not PET, which will have a tendency to yellow and over time. But in a portable situation, shouldn't have a problem with any of the solar panels if they're not put out and in the sun 24 hours a day. The weight on this, somewhere around 6.1 pounds. So a very lightweight portable panel that you can take to hook to your solar generator or charge controller. Most of those solar generators have their own built-in charge controller, and then you can just plug this straight into the, it comes with a little bit bigger plug for those solar generators that take a wider barrel connector. Can't remember what the size of that is. It's like 6.5 millimeter. Nice panel overall. I just feel like it's just a little bit underrated for what it's supposed to be. This one, as you can see, is a Sunpower solar panel, the flexible type. It's a 50 watt rated. I put it on my own homemade PVC stand so that I can just rest it at any angle that I want. A lot of times I just leave these laying flat on the ground in the summertime. It's also monocrystal, and I should note that every single one of these solar panels that we're talking about today are all monocrystalline type. I think that's the most popular nowadays. It's a very efficient panel. It's rated at 50 watts. It puts out 50 watts. And I like it a lot. It's just very lightweight, very simple. I do have a portrait carry case. Works really great for hauling these panels right here. Did have my wife cut it down to the right width, but it's perfect. Zip it up, and I can carry my my Sunpower solar panels in this carry case. Not quite as nice as some of these foldable panels, but Sunpower is well known for their efficient cells, and they do a really good job with them.
Yeah, but the weight for this panel is much less than some of the other panels that we're going to talk about. So that's a very good benefit to these panels. They're flexible, and they are very low weight.
Yes, I think it's like 3.4 pounds for this thing. So very lightweight. I should mention that I've made a custom MC4 to Anderson power pole adapter. That way I don't cut the factory cables. As I mentioned earlier, all of our solar panels have Anderson power pole connections on them, and so this just a little adapter allows me to keep this thing as factory. In fact, most of these solar panels will come with these. More and more of them, though, are starting to come factory with the Anderson power pole, so it's catching on with the manufacturers.
Okay, so the next panel we're going to talk about is the Rockpals RP082. This is their newer version of the 100-watt folding panel. Just briefly before we go ahead and continue this, only 2 of these panels out of all 11 of them were actually provided by the manufacturer for a review. I did buy this one with my own money just because I wanted the newer version. So we'll mention that when we're talking about the actual solar panel, if it was provided for a review, just so you guys know. But only 2 of them out of the 11 were. Talking a little bit more about this panel, this panel actually has the kickstands built in on the back, so it stands up at a good angle. So this panel actually has the EFTE covering on top. And what that does is it's just a really good protective color for the solar panels, and it doesn't fade with the sun. Looking at the back of the panel, it terminates in Anderson power pole. And so just more popular these days is either it terminates in Anderson power pole or it terminates in a barrel connector. So how the kickstands work is they just kind of fold. It has 2 kickstands and you can fold them in. It's really nice. Looking a little bit closer at the panel here, what's cool about this panel is it has a USB output. So it has a USB-A and a USB-C. So instead of just having MC4 connectors like the other 2 panels that we've seen, it actually has the Anderson and USB. So you can charge your cell phone or a laptop that supports these 2 outputs and charge that device. So pretty neat there. Just a little extra feature that comes with this. And I'd like that it ends with this long cable. Now for the performance on this Rockpals RP082 100-watt folding solar panel, we were getting 94 watts, pretty close to what it's advertised for. You know, you're going to get a different wattage almost every single day you test it. One time we tested it, we actually got over 100 watts, but when we tested it today on all these, this one pulled 94 watts. And it comes in at 9.4 pounds, so pretty good on the weight. It's actually pretty lightweight for the power that it puts out. So the panel folds up very simply. I love how compact this panel is. Then you just take everything and you stuff it in this back here. Zip shut. And there you go. You have the Velcro that holds it on. So very compact panel. And this is one of the most popular panels on Amazon.
This is an ECOworthy, I think that's what it's called, ECOworthy solar panel. It's 80-watt foldable. This was before these popular lightweight folding panels became available. This was your only option, was to get one of these that has 2 aluminum panels that are hinged together. The quality on it's very nice. Comes with a couple of stand to go with it, and as you can see, we've also made it into our own Anderson power pole. But it just folds together like so. This solar panel is actually fairly heavy, and one of the heavier panels that we got as far as being classified as a portable solar panel. But it's a good panel. It is rated at 80 watts, and it puts out right near 79, 80 watts. The latches on this are pretty nice. They kind of have a little spring-loaded latch like that. I don't use this solar panel very much anymore because I've got these other lighter weight, smaller portable panels. but it's hard to know what to do with this anymore. It's a good panel, just a little bit heavy. Jason, this is a 120 watt folding solar panel. It's made by Baldr. See if I can show you the name on that right there. Baldr. You've seen them on Amazon also as Togo Power. I believe they're the same, one and the same. So my recommendation is just purchase whichever one has the best price. I own 2 of these. I like them that much. What is so nice about these is that they are fairly lightweight for the amount of power that you put out that these things put out. I love these latches on the Baldr. Actually, they're on one of the Rockpals too, and some of these other solar panels. It must be a common latch. Snaps together, but to open it up, it just a little press right there, and it opens right up. Nice little carry handle. Grommets on both ends if you need to hang it, dangle it from a vertical surface. This one, like the Rockpals, has also got the, I don't know if you can see that, USB ports, and must be a little bit of regulation in there. It also comes with the Anderson power pole connection, so no need for us to come up with a custom connector there for our setup. Yeah, this rated at 120 watts. We measured it right around 112 watts. We thought that was pretty good considering the surface area of the solar cells, and then the weight of this. It's one of the best as far as watts per pound, and the price is very good on that too. I would say I have 2 of these, and I grab these when I go camping. It's probably my favorite.
Okay, so this is the Bluetti SP200. This is a 200 watt panel, so this is actually the biggest panel that we have in the video today. It folds up really nice. Because it's a bigger solar panel, it also has a little bit of weight to it. With the name being SP200, the SP comes because these are Sunpower solar chips, so high quality, and it puts out advertised power. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back of this. One thing I like about this panel is it actually, because of its size, it has 4 kickstands, and they have quite a bit of reinforced fabric on the back. They Velcro down. Great design. So it has 4 kickstands, and it has the same clips that were on the Baldr, so very simple to unlatch. So looking at the panel here, how it comes out is it just has this 12 gauge cable, which is awesome, and it terminates in MC4 connections, which is the standard solar connection. And then what we did is we have an adapter, so it goes from MC4 to Anderson power pole, so it plugs into our batteries. It's rated at 200 watts, and it did put out about 170 watts, so fairly good output. It definitely had the highest output out of all the solar panels here. This does cost quite a bit more, probably because the Sunpower panels that are inside of it, it does have really good build quality, and it's a great panel. I definitely recommend it if someone wanted to have Sunpower solar panels in a folding configuration. This would be the way to get that.
Jason, this is a 100 watt folding solar panel. It's a little bit more rigid than some of these others, but it's still fairly light when compared to a aluminum panel. It folds just in half like this. Just has these built-in kickstands. Again, I did the same thing with the MC4 to an Anderson power pole connector. Then we just fold that in half like that. It's got kind of a magnetic latch right there. It's not too heavy. It's a nice unit. It did come with a charge controller on it, and I took it off because I just use solar panels with my own charge controllers and didn't really need that. I love the case that it comes with. Just zips up real simple. It's a little bit of a padded case too, so it's kind of nice. I'm not sure whether it's a PowerECO or an ECOPower, but it's one of those two. This did put out around 86 watts, so a little short of 100 watts. But that's kind of typical of some of our 100 watt panels we've seen. They're right in that area.
Okay, so this one is the Allpowers. It's a 100 watt folding solar panel. This is definitely one of the lightest solar panels we have. This solar panel puts out about 86 watts, so pretty close to near 100 watts there. And it's just a very lightweight. There's no rigid protection on this. It almost has like a little bit of foam. And on the back, it just has a little pocket that the MC4 adapters come out of, and we've made that adapter from MC4 to Anderson. It just kind of snaps together with these snaps at top. The only downside to this panel is just because of its lightweight, you can almost see it's got a little bit of a kind of a bend to it over time because it heats up. But overall, it's been really good. If you wanted to carry this thing in the backcountry, this would be the one you want to take. I'll get the exact specs on the screen, but it's pretty good.
This next solar panel is made by Lensun. It turns out to be an 80 watt solar panel, folding solar panel. Lensun was one of the first small folding panels that came out with the ETFE coating. And they specifically marketed that aspect of it. These are screw-in rods, and the whole thing comes apart and you stick it in the storage bag right there. This never did come with a charge controller. It was the perfect thing for me when I looked around for something that was fairly small and portable. It also had the MC4 output, which if you're going to be using a portable situation, plugging in and out all the time, you want to convert over to the Anderson power pole, because these things are a little difficult to disconnect and take apart. So that's why all of our solar panels have these on us, because our charge controllers take this as an input to the charge controller. Jason, the weight on this is 6.5 pounds. So it's a pretty lightweight solar panel also. Has nice little quick clips, hold it together. Output on this around 65 watts. So it's an 80 watt panel. It's not quite giving us 80 watts.
Okay, so this is the other panel that was provided by Review a long time ago. This is the Rockpals SP200. This is the first Rockpals panel that I reviewed on my channel. It has really good efficiency too. So it's a folding 100 watt solar panel. Compared to the other Rockpals that we did earlier in the video, you can see it's about 2 inches longer. So it is a slightly bigger form factor. So that's the newer edition. This is the older edition. But it actually outputs a little bit more power than the other Rockpals. So this one actually puts out about 105 watts. We have measured a little bit more, but today we got 105 watts on it. So it does put out rated power, and it has the nice clips on the solar panel. So opening up the case here, this is where you have the power cables that come out. So it comes with a bunch of different adapters, and so it goes from MC4 to Anderson is what I have connected currently. And it also has the USB output, so you can charge your cell phone here, and everything tucks away nicely in this thing here. The only downside I think to this is it just doesn't have the kickstands on it. So if you want it to prop up in the later in the year or earlier in the year when the sun's not completely vertical in the sky, you'll want to have to prop it up on something. But for the most part, you don't get too big of difference if it's not propped up. Without kickstands, not the worst thing ever. You can usually just set it on your car hood or something like that. But we've been happy with this one. It puts out a lot of power. It's a little bit bigger than the newer edition, but like I said, it does have more power. So if I was going to recommend either one to anybody, I would just say whatever's on a better sale, just go for that. Because they're both great panels. They weigh near the same, and they put out probably near the same power. If you really want kickstands, go with the newer edition of the Rockpals. But yeah, we've been happy with the Rockpals for sure. Looking at the coating between both of them, this has the older PET coating over the solar panels. The other one had the ETFE, the newer, more durable, the one that won't fade or turn yellow over time. So there's another difference between the two solar panels.
Jason, I'm not sure why we even have this solar panel in our video. It's just a standard 100 watt aluminum solar panel, but I guess we did it just because we had it and wanted to see what its results are. It's 100 watt. I think we got like around 96 watts out of it, so it's pretty close to what it's rated for. These things are inexpensive. This one turns out to be a Newpowa solar panel. Didn't pay very much money for it. I think it was around $75, $79 at the time. I've had it for a year or two, but I don't take this camping with me, I'll tell you that. I use it in case the power goes out here at home. I can just throw some of these out on the grass, and they're durable, but heavy.
Okay guys, hope you guys enjoyed seeing those 11 solar panels. We thought it'd be really helpful to just take a few of our favorites, just show you if we had to start from scratch, what solar panels we would just buy today, because a lot of the panels that Jeff has purchased were from a couple years ago. So the selection has really changed to what's available today. So I'll start off with the panel that I currently own, the one I would keep if I was gonna buy 10 of these panels. I would buy the newer Rockpals. So I'd buy the RP082. The reason I'd buy this is because it's a smaller form factor, so that's less weight. It has the built-in Anderson power poles connection on the back, the USB, and it has the ETFE coating. It does pretty good on performance, so I was pretty happy with that. And it's probably one of my favorite panels that I personally own. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and have Jeff talk about his favorites. We have them lined up here. He'll just talk about why he likes them, and we'll go from there.
Jason, my favorite portable solar panel is probably this Baldr right here. It's 120 watt, folds out, very nice and compact. It's one of my favorites. It performed well. The other one that I really like is this Sunpower panel. I actually made a little PVC stand for it, and I like how I can just easily just set that out on the ground. I would say these two right here for just grab and go camping, these two would be my favorite. On the table we've got some portable battery systems. These type right here are really popular. You see a lot of different brands on Amazon. Jackery is probably the most popular one. Solar panels will just plug straight into these guys. With this is my own battery pack that I designed and built. It's based off of a Battleborn 50 amp hour. So it doesn't have a lot of the extra electronics like you find over here with the AC plug. It's just a battery pack with some ports and an SAE connector right here. I've got some meters so that I can monitor my current and voltage going in and out. But to charge this battery is going to require a solar charge controller, or at home you're going to need some kind of an AC charger. I just prefer this method over this. I know this is a lot easier for most people due to its portability. It's already built. I feel you get a lot more power with one of these units right here, because the output is the raw lithium phosphate battery power around 13.3 volts, and that really helps out when you're running your 12 volt portable compressor fridges. It keeps the power up a little bit higher. This box is just a wood box that I made. Got my schematic and a little instrumentation board here for my meters, a shunt resistor to pick up the current, and it's about as tight as you can put a battery this size in this box. The overall weight, it's probably around 24 pounds for this whole thing, box and all. But in order for me to charge this guy up with solar, I'm going to have to use some kind of a solar charge controller, of which my favorite is this Blue Sky MPPT T charge controller. I picked these panel mount chargers up a while back, fairly inexpensive, and have just built them into my own case. On the left side I have the solar inputs, and on the right side is the connection goes to the battery, and so I can just run a short little connection down here and charge this this battery up.
Okay, so looking at this is the Bluetti EB70. So this is lithium iron phosphate. So actually all three of these batteries have lithium iron phosphate batteries within them, and there's just basically three types of battery packs you can do here. What's nice about something like this is it does cost a little bit more for the storage you're getting, but it's the convenience of having the AC inverter, flashlight, it's fused, it charges easily, and it's safe, right? It won't over discharge, it won't short circuit, things like that. And it's just something you can just buy right off the shelf. And these work really well because people that don't have maybe the technical experience, they need to build something themselves, they can just buy something like this. You'll see a couple cables that come with these types of batteries. This is a 12-volt cable that plugs into the input, so you can charge it while your car engine is running, and it'll charge it, which is nice. The other option is the same barrel, but it has the MC4 connector, so you can plug a solar panel in and charge it via solar. So these are really, they've come a long way. A lot of the first battery packs did not charge versus 12 volt, and they only accepted like 60 watts in, but this here accepts 200 watts in, and it charges multiple ways. You can even charge it using a generator. So there's multiple inputs. Yet this has low battery storage and lots of cost. I have this build video on my channel. This is my DIY 80 amp hour lithium iron battery. So this is very similar to Jeff's, except for his uses a really nice Battleborn battery, and mine uses very cheap lithium iron phosphate cells that are just something you'd buy off AliExpress. You can see I have the BMS here on top, all the wiring. This is all something you have to do yourself, so it's just a little bit more complicated. You have to do the right gauge of wire. You have to wire it up properly and have this set up without, short circuiting anything. So it does take a little bit more experience, but this has a full 80 amp hours of battery storage, and this has 50, and this has somewhere around 40 or so. So it's a little bit less, but this was less money than this to build. So if you feel confident in going out and buying the parts and assembling it, I have a video on this. Or if you want to get a really trusted battery that you just put into a box and do the wiring to your 12-volt socket and stuff, you can buy a Battleborn battery and put it in a box. And there's just so many options. Let's go ahead and talk about how the solar panels work with each one of these. Okay, so now that we've talked about each of these battery packs, we're just going to bring it back around to the solar panels and just show you how easy it is to hook one of these portable solar panels up to any of these batteries. So throughout this video, Jeff and I have talked about these Anderson power pole connectors and how easy they are to use. There's no way to reverse them, so it's really easy to plug it in. And say you wanted to charge this battery, all you'd do is you'd plug it into the solar input on the charge controller. Because this is just a battery itself, it needs a way to convert solar into the battery voltage, so you have to have a charge controller. So you would just plug the solar panel into the charge input here, and then you'd have a wire going straight into the battery here. And that's how you would charge a battery that's just like standalone. You could picture this like a battery in your car. If you want to charge your car battery, you're going to need a way to convert the solar power into a battery voltage. That's what the charge controller does. I actually have a charge controller that's very similar to this as well. And so that also applies directly to this battery pack here, as I would also have as many solar panels as this supports. This supports up to 20 amps. So you can put quite a few solar panels in parallel, and then you plug them in here, and then they plug into the battery. Now, if you come to something that you can buy off the shelf, this has the solar charge controller built inside. And that's why you see something on the top, it'll say MPPT, being the maximum power point tracking. And so we talked about that curve. So it will find the highest wattage that the solar panel is going to put out, and it'll apply it to the battery. So what's nice is that's built into this setup already. So all you'd have to do is make sure that your solar panel you purchase can adapt to the import here. So with this Bluetti here, you have a barrel connector. So you'd want to make sure that you could take an adapter that has Anderson to the correct size, a barrel adapter, and that's how you charge it. If these are both the cables that came with the Bluetti, so if you had a solar panel that accepted MC4 connections, you would just hook your solar panel to this and plug it in, and you're good to go. So basically that's how this works, is you can charge any of these batteries with these portable solar panels. It's very easy to do. You just have to make sure that it has the correct adapter. And a lot of times on the specifications of the solar panel, it'll list what adapter it comes with. And so just make sure that you have the adapter that works with your battery setup. And if you're going to be using a raw battery, just make sure you're using a charge controller to make sure it gets charged up. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I just wanted to really thank Jeff for taking his time to do all this testing with me and to really show off all these different solar panels. Jeff, what would you say to the people that if they get a different wattage on their solar panels than what we got in the test?
I would say not to worry about it. The testing that you do, it's going to vary from day to day and angle of the sun and whether there's any moisture in the sky and clouds and everything else. So I wouldn't put too much thought into whether your panel gets the full amount of rated wattage. The only thing you can really do if you really wanted to compare and see how well your panel's doing is just compare that panel at that same very day with another panel that you have that you know the results. And so if one panel is a little bit marginal and you're used to it being higher, and then your new panel is a little bit less, then you can kind of associate it with the sky and the conditions at the time. That's all I can say about that.
And that's why it was really cool for us to compare them all at the same time, so we could see how they compare to each other. So we could see which one was putting out the most power in the same exact, time of day, exact settings, if there was a little haze, things like that. If you guys have any questions for me or Jeff, just leave them in the comment section below, and we'll get back to you. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and it was definitely fun to have Jeff back on the channel. I don't know, we might have to do something like this again in the future with something else. But anyway, guys, give us a thumbs up, share the video, and we appreciate you watching. Have a good day.